Well, I'm Pam Brown, and I'm with the Occupy Student Debt Campaign, as well as Strike Debt, which are both initiatives of Occupy Wall Street.
We're speaking in September 2012. 4 years ago, a financial crisis exploded. What's happened since in terms of that crisis, and how does it relate to the student debt crisis that you're talking about today?
Right. It's a great question, and thank you so much for having me on your show. In terms of what's happened subsequent to the catastrophe that happened about 4 years ago, we've really seen not very much of any government assistance for homeowners in particular. And that has created a massive foreclosure crisis, which has led to already about 5 million foreclosures and predictions that they may go as high as over 9 million before things shake themselves out. The employment crisis also came out of this, and so interestingly, we've seen more and more student debt accumulate. We've seen $100 billion in student debt accumulate just last year. So we have increasing student debt. Last year in April, we actually went over $1 trillion, which is really an unfathomable amount of money for students to owe. It's more than any other form of consumer debt. A year ago, we started the Occupy Student Debt Campaign, and that was one of the first things really to emerge out of Occupy Wall Street, was this issue around student debt. And there have been many groups that have worked with this issue, but the actual one that came out of Occupy Wall Street was Occupy Student Debt Campaign. And we aim to change higher education, not just change the circumstance of students currently with the unbearable $1 trillion worth of debt that's already been accumulated, but actually look at how to correct the system. So over the last year, I think that we've done a great job actually at raising awareness, letting people know that there's a crisis. But there's a lot more work that we need to do in order to really change things.
In an economy where we've got half of the jobs paying $34,000 or less, whether you've been to college or not, do you think college is still a good deal?
It's a complicated question. One aspect of it is that as a public, we need an educated society. There are many people who would make the argument that you can't have a democracy without an educated populace. So it's not really about income, that you can't really value education that way. On the other hand, we certainly can't have people graduating into enormous debt without jobs that pay well, pay enough money to pay those debts.